welcome the lovely Jackie, the director of the Carnivali Foundation in India that promotes and supports educational programs in the slums, in the heart of India, in Hyderabad. It's an honor. Thank you. I invite Radhika Atluri. Radhika, please join us on the stage. From India, also the director of the Carnivali Foundation, with experience in NGO management and instrumental in the development of Carnivali Foundation's educational initiatives. I'm sorry, we don't shake hands on the stage. If I could call on Aurora Martin. Aurora, where are you? There you are, the shining diamond, an anti-discrimination and gender expert coming from Romania, working for the government and the UN. She's also a founding member of the Euro-Atlantic Partnership for Sustainable Development in Romania. It's an honor. Welcome. Maggie Weber, come on over. A social entrepreneur from Australia, an international coach and business consultant, currently spearheading the launch of the Free Power and Water Foundation, now living in Portugal. Please welcome this lovely lady, Maggie. I really cannot hear you. Neither can they. Yes, please. Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. I'm watching you. Stephen Bowman, please take the main stage. Even though you might be outnumbered, not in heart. Welcome. Thank you. Please have a seat. Stephen is the Managing Director of Conscious Governance from Australia, a global business advisor, author, and speaker. It's a pleasure. If I could invite on stage Goretti Coutinho. Goretti, the lovely lady in red, coming from Porto, Portugal, an educational consultant, managing and directing a European project which focuses on inclusion and diversity, working on large-scale educational projects. Welcome. Olivia Joseph Aluko. Olivia, please welcome Olivia, coming from the UK, working with community-based organizations, addressing conflict and inequality management. It's an honor. Please welcome these thought leaders and global change makers. A warm round of applause. If we could initiate this discussion, I'd invite Jackie and Radhika. Great. Please.
Well, we'd like to begin by giving a huge thank you to Dr. Arbeen and her whole team for giving all of these amazing women a voice. Thank you so much. So imagine it's 2002. I am in India for my first trip there. I go to visit a school and I see about 30 little children in the dirt in their classroom. There's 4 poles and a tarp on the top. And they're playing, singing games and hand games, and they're having a wonderful time. At that point in my life, I had just finished 30 years of working as a school teacher and a headmistress. And I thought my career in education was over. But when I saw those little children, I thought maybe a new one is just beginning. Since that time, we have turned that little school into a school that goes through high school with 1,000 students, and we have established numerous other campuses around the city of Hyderabad. In fact, as those children matured through the grades, we had students who graduated with very good scores, and we said, well, what do we do? So we started a scholarship program, and as of today, we have 9 young people who have graduated from university and are currently working as civil and software engineers in very great companies in Hyderabad. And we have another 25 students who are in the pipeline to graduate. So as we have added schools and we've added grades, we've added programs. In my early career, I was a kindergarten teacher. So I have a special place in my heart for the really little children. And we have also expanded Anganwadi programs with playgrounds and learning materials and that sort of thing. Because of our expansion, we've also just recently established a bigger team for Radhika, who is our director in Hyderabad.
Good morning. Partnerships are very necessary for us as we have to sustain our foundation into the future. We have a great relationship with the Indian government, Indian Education Office, with whom I work very closely to select schools and to create an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with them to define the terms of our support. We have also partnered with the Rotaries of Hyderabad and USA, as a result of which we have done a matching grant. We have completely rebuilt and renovated a whole school. With their ongoing funds, we have also built an RO system, toilets, more classes, and it has graduated to a 10th grade. I have presented at WEF last year in Delhi with 3 of our scholarship students. And it was an amazing, truly transforming experience for them.
But I want to divert a little bit and tell you about one of our most recent projects, and it's a nice story. I had read in my Rotary newsletter that my club in the USA had a presenter from Guatemala who talked about starting reading programs for the parents of the children in the schools. And I thought, what's the matter with us? Why haven't we done the same thing? So just in the last several months, we have started reading classes at one of our campuses for the parents or people in the community. Initially, it was really hard to get anybody to show up. Where our schools in the slums, most parents are even afraid to come inside the walls of the school. They're very intimidated. They themselves do not read and they do not write, so they don't have the experience of schools. And I thought, what must it be like then for them to have children who will go off to university? How do they come back and tell their parents about this experience? Or how do parents help children with homework if they don't know the letters of their own alphabet? So we have started this reading program, and the person who was able to engage the community to come into the walls of our school was our Aya. Now, the Aya is the lady in our school who cleans the toilets, sweeps the dirt, takes care of things, and she herself has no education at all. But now our Aya has become a popular person in the neighborhood because she has attracted people to learn how to read, and when they come, she serves them tea. And they are learning the letters of the alphabet in the Telugu language. So,
to quote Nelson Mandela, education is a powerful weapon to use to change the society, to change the world. So we believe in that ideology, as education encourages people to change their attitudes, their beliefs, their complete environment to sustain and live in a just society. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, beautiful ladies. Thank you for doing the work you do. and for the women that you are. Thank you. Please do let us know how. Yes.
So this is why we have chosen to donate to Jackie Carnevale's foundation, to the Carnevale Foundation. You've heard the reasons now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I was going to say, please do let us know how each one of us could be involved and could help, you know, just to be in time and resource any which way that we could extend our help.
We have a website, www.carnevalefoundation.org. And I have cards. Perfect. So thank you.
We'll find you. Thank you. I invite Aurora Martin. Welcome, Aurora.
Good morning, everybody. I will start by congratulating the organizers for this great event and by thanking to the Portuguese people. I felt so welcome. So people are so warm, so open. I really feel great, and I'm wondering how I lived on this earth until now without knowing Portugal. Thank you. I guess you had a good journey to the conference. I know I did. But I would like to invite you today to follow me in a different journey. I invite you to take a look backstage to the modern slavery and to discover together a face of a different story, a different story of a different journey. I'll begin with my classmate from high school. As a single mother, she went to Italy to work as a domestic worker, leaving home alone, 2 daughters under 18. Nobody was waiting for her with open arms. Worse, the first old man where she worked, took her passport and asked for all kinds of services a woman can offer. She managed to escape, but the next experience was not easier. Disappointed, without the money she had dreamed of to bring back home, feeling guilty in front of her daughters, she was calling me, tempted to commit suicide. Well, my classmate is only one of so many others. The symptoms I mentioned before are characteristic for a specifically disease. It is called Syndrome of Italy. Since 2005, a new medical term was introduced in international medical jargon, this Syndrome of Italy. This is a form of deep depression which endangers the health, sometimes the life of an immigrant mother. Why I speak about Italy and how is it related to Romania, the country where I come from? Well, Italy has a great demand for care workers to look after old people and children. And Romanian women have the normal ambition of making life better for their children. But the attraction of going to earn money for their family has unforeseen problems because the mothers arrive to feel guilt and depression for abandoning their children, which produce effects on their mental health. Syndrome of Italy. This phenomenon has been labeled Italian because Italy is a country with the largest number of family domestic workers in Europe. But it refers to Romanian women, Moldavian women, Polish, Filipino, Ukrainian, Moroccan, Peruvian, so we are in a really good company. These social malaise of immigrant mothers need to be recognized and faced internationally. Let us think about what it means to be a caregiver. Just imagine, to be a caregiver is to live in the same house with the elderly person, work tirelessly 24/24, 7/7, sleepless nights with constant vigilance. In the last year, 1 out of 3 never went to the doctor to check their state of health. Moreover, and very heavy, it is impossible to bring along children to these jobs. Imagine if you are a mother, you can imagine what does it mean. Their journey is a journey to depression, it's a journey to despair. Now, I invite you to follow me on a parallel journey. 2 minutes. Okay. It's a journey of the children left behind. They are called the white orphans, or the orphans of globalization. The children left alone in their country of origin because their parents have gone to work abroad. Many times they arrive to feel depressed. They feel abandoned. The white orphans could be considered as a global phenomenon. There are 58 million in China. There are 9 million in Philippines, where they arrive to commit suicide because they feel guilt because their parents go to work abroad and tell them, we go there to make a better future for you. So when they see that, parents go abroad, they feel guilt, and for example, it was a child in Romania who committed suicide, and in his pocket they found some words towards her mother, telling, "Mom, without me, now you can work less, you can be free." It is killing. In Romania, the media speak about 50 cases of children committing suicide every year. I came today to bring attention on this global phenomenon, because there are about, if we talk about modern day slavery, when we talk about slavery, we think about the past, but you have to think that today in the world there are more slaveries than ever in the history. There are about 40 million of people victims of modern slavery, 25 million in forced labor, and about 15 million in forced marriage. 71% of these are women and girls. So I bring your attention on this topic. I want to create awareness, to think about, and if we talk about development, if we talk about economy, we don't have to allow women to be used as modern slavery. Albert Camus was telling that freedom is a chance for people to show that they are becoming a better persons. So I invite you to become better persons and to create awareness in your around you.
Thank you, Aurora. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for taking us on that journey of awareness. We didn't know. Thank you. We appreciate you doing the work that you do. I invite the ever-eloquent, the ever-elegant Maggie Weber.
Hello, everybody. If you could know how my life has changed in the last 2 years since I met Dr. Habib and Mansi and Tanya. So I'm from the little heart-shaped island at the bottom of Australia called Tasmania. And there's 2 parts to me. So there's Micro Maggie and Macro Maggie. Micro Maggie is a business coach, she's an author, Big deal. So what I had to realize was that I was acting locally and thinking globally. But I was just thinking. I was so in my head, so busy acting out of fear because I was a single mother and I was $500,000 in debt and all of that stuff. Don't worry about it. But I was just thinking. So I needed to change things. I was called the working mother's mentor at that time. And I still do that work. But I had to act globally. I had to do much more and work with the hardest working mother I know, Mother Earth. So I'm now working with a group that's based out of London, although we've got offices in Vilamoura in Portugal, which is why I've just moved here 2 weeks ago. Thank you very much. Life is tough. And we've funded 45 sustainable, socially entrepreneurial businesses in the last 2 years. And we plan to fund another 500 in the next 5. Haven't got time to go into all the ways that we're doing that, but we've got apps on phones and things now, and you can invest in these. And all of these projects, though, are sustainable, helping sustainable social structures. So they're helping Mother Earth. And my favorite one is one, well, actually, we've got one called Simple Drinking Water, which is where we can filter water, no matter how putrid it is, without electricity. We have another one, it's actually a company in Portugal called Omniflow, and they do alternative energy, and so we make alternative power with them. But the one that I love the most is you take waste, so it's zero waste to energy. And we launch our first place in Birmingham in England next week. And so what it does is, you know, you're right next door to a landfill site and you get all this waste and you put it through a process called pyrolysis, and it makes gas that's cleaner than North Sea gas. So these are just some of the projects that we're working on. And so this means that now I can act globally and think globally and affect other people, working mothers. I can help out working mothers now. Instead of just in Tasmania or in Australia, I can help them with their investments. And even if they've got a small amount to invest, they can invest in some of these projects. But what I had to realize too is it's no good talking about all of this stuff. Let's bring it right back down. I was living my life, leaving a big, big footprint. And so I needed to walk the talk of what I was teaching. So yes, I have a compost heap. Yes, I have all those things. But even something as simple as this, I won't drink out of a little plastic bottle. We've got to walk the talk of what we're doing, because this has got a filter in it, you see. So I just carry my bottle. This has been in every country in the world, this bottle, and has filters in it. So it's a good thing I got little feet, because I want my footprint to be small. But my actions must be huge. And they must be not just from my head, but from my heart. And as Mahatma Gandhi says, I had to be the change that I wanted to see on Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Thank you. Thanks for leaving us with that profundity. I invite Stephen Bowman. Welcome from Conscious Governance Australia as well. Oh, I can give you, okay.
I can look after it. Hi, everyone. What I want to do is to change the subject a little bit about sustainable social structures. My wife and I, Chutissa, many of you met her yesterday. We've been married 43 years. We travel the world working with boards and chief executives of local and global organisations. Each one of them is trying to create a sustainable social structure in their own way. But what we've found is the element that creates true sustainability is who the leaders choose to be, not the organisation. And so one of the things that we've found is choosing to be a benevolent capitalist. Two words that you will never hear together unless we're talking about it. Benevolent capitalism is about benevolence, which is wishing well for all. Capitalism is the organic growth. Wishing well for all while creating organic growth. And it starts with each one of us. We are the leaders. So what I wanted to do is very briefly go through the 8 core elements of benevolent capitalism. Don't try and remember them. One of them will ping for you. I have no idea which one. And from that, if we understand and we are willing to be that ourselves, then we can be the change that the world requires. Let's not wait for social systems to catch up. Let's actually be the social system in everything that we do. Because every choice that we make creates the future. And if we understand that every choice we make creates the future, then just maybe we'll be a little more willing to look at the choices that we are making. So, the first element, wishing well for all. That includes yourself. Too many times we see people wishing well for all, but it's always about the other people, those less fortunate. Let's start with us first. Wishing well for all includes ourselves. What that means is how you choose to be. There is no definition. Second one, no damage. What does no damage look like in this instance? It is going to be different every single time you make a choice. So what would no damage look like in this? Building long-term sustainable futures. The choice we make today is not just for tomorrow, it's for 500 years from now. Be aware of the energy of that, so that when you're making those choices, ask yourself, will this create change now, 50 years, 500 years? And that's the energy that will help you make the choices that actually need to be made. A world of possibilities, not problems. Please, if you get nothing else, this is the one. If you are willing to see possibilities in everything rather than problems, you will start to look at global warming from a different space. You'll start to look at sustainability. You'll start to look at minimalisation from a totally different space. What are the possibilities being created here rather than let's fix a problem? A problem is a judgment. A possibility has no judgment attached to it. It's just a possibility. Stewardship of and with the planet. We are the stewards. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but you do. What does that look like in your own world? What does that look like in your day job? What does the stewardship of the planet look like? One small choice at a time. Maximising possibility and profit, they go hand in hand. Can you create greater change in the world with having money or not having money? Just a thought. There's an infinite supply of money out there. The only reason that you don't have access to more is your point of view about what it is or what it isn't. Maximising possibility and profit. Taking environmental awareness, a true understanding of environmental awareness, taking out all the judgment, what does that look like? And then lastly, acting benevolent. Don't talk about it, be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for driving home that message that we are our choices. Appreciate that. Actions for futures. Are you a pragmatic futurist?
Question for everyone.
Yes, question for everyone. Homework. Another piece of homework. Thank you, Stephen. I invite Goretti to enlighten us about the work she does in the educational space. Please welcome her.
Good morning, everybody. What a pleasure it is to be here. Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you. I want to start with this question. What sustainable social structure is more important than the education of the mind and the heart? I'm going to go about this with two stories. The two stories have a gap of just over 100 years between them. It starts with João. João is 6 years old. He was born on the island of Madeira, and he wants to go to school. He goes to school on the first day, comes back home, and he's told, you can't go anymore because we need you. We need you, your chores need to be done, and there's nobody else that can do it. João didn't learn to read or write, but João was determined, and he learned a craft, and he became a very skilled carpenter and a builder, and he built beautiful homes. To this day, you go to Madeira and you will find Casa das Queimadas, which is a beautiful home made of wood, a beautiful woodwork. It's João's work. João had 6 children. These 6 children, he said, no, they've got to learn to read and write. The island was only allowing, where he lived, 4 years of education, what we in Portugal know as quarta classe. So that's a basic education, which was quite packed. You learned a lot of geography and history, reading and writing, and that was enough. All 6 children learned, boys, the art of the father. The father taught them his craft. And between the 7 of them, they would build a house from the bottom to the top. If you think of today, this is quite a lot of engineering and knowledge that these people, these 7 young men, well, young, one wasn't so young, they put together and they built a lot of homes. One of them, called Manel, he wanted more. His heart was broken, and at 19, he said, I'm leaving the island. He left, and he went to Africa. Arrived in Africa, he was only allowed to go to the colonies, Mozambique. Of course, Mozambique was a little underdeveloped compared to South Africa, and in a clandestine way, they crossed the borders, he crossed the border. Arrived then, was looking for work, arrived at a construction site and said, I need work. And they asked him, what can you do? And he said, what do you need me to do? What needs to be done? And he was told, well, we need you to plaster that wall. And he did. After a week, he was in charge of the construction site. We're talking about a construction site. It was building houses, houses for miners. They just discovered some mineral in this part of Africa, and they were building the homes for these miners. Now, Manel never went back to Madeira. He passed away this year at the age of 92, 93, and he's left a legacy behind. Now, that 6-year-old boy, João, is my grandfather. Manel is not my father, but he's like my father. 100 years on, I am an education consultant, counselor, and what I do is I help young people find their dreams, just as these 2 young men at the time followed their dreams. I now help young people find their dream university, and I help place them in it, be it anywhere in the world. And with this work, I met Carolina. Carolina, young lady, born this century. She wants to be an engineer, aeronautical engineer for the future. This young lady is now in the United States, and she is doing a 12th year of getting some knowledge of what it is to study in a different education system, to then go to the UK and do her engineering degree program. Now, why I'm telling you this story, it's dreams. 100 years ago, people had dreams, they followed them, and in the system, the social structure that was there in place, they followed it, and they did what they needed to do. Carolina is also doing what she needs to do, also following her dream, and this is a young lady, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about her. Now, I don't know if a bell has rang yet. It has. Can I just close off with one last sentence, the same one I opened? And I'll read it, just not to get it wrong. What sustainable social structure is more important than the education of the mind and the heart? And then connecting it. This is what we need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Goretti. Thank you. In India, we'd call you a sutradhara, a connecting thread. Sutradhara. Yes, thank you. And thank you for weaving the beautiful stories and sort of giving them a current point of reference. Beautiful. Thank you, Goretti. Thank you. I invite our last lovely speaker for this panel. I welcome Olivia Joseph Aluko from the UK. Let's welcome her.
Which one? This, no, I can use this anyway. Okay. Good night, everyone. Good night! Yeah, I want us to be awake. Actually, in some places, it is night. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I want to give honor to the All Ladies League, the Women Economic Forum. I've read your ethos, everything you are doing all over the world. I want to say you are the best. You see, I can come to you talking to you about academics, but it is time to talk to ourselves as human beings, as one human race. In a world where people are becoming more intolerant of one another, where there's a lot of inequality, a lot of distrust, a lot of imbalance, a lot of inequality, we have to define what it is that makes us human beings, what it is that makes us people, what is it that connects us together. We all know about conflict. We all know about wars. You know, when people get into wars, what happens? They become displaced, they become refugees, they become migrants. And that was why I was so excited yesterday when I was listening to the young people, the reverse group, and what they were talking about freedom of movement. Well, if you want to know where I'm coming from, I'm a migration scholar. I'm very passionate about migration. I'm very passionate about human behavior. I'm very passionate about human behavior. I'm passionate about inclusion. I'm passionate about what we do to one another. Now, we're talking about social structures, and I've looked at it that some of the examples of social structure includes family, religion, economic, political, and educational institutions. Of course, we can add recreational institutions to it. Now, talking about educational institutions, as of this moment, there are about 31 million children worldwide that are not in school. Not because they don't want to go, they just cannot get there. I can go on giving statistics, but I want to leave us with something today. An education beyond borders, an education beyond institutions. I want to leave you with what we call life skills. Life skills. How do we empower one another? These are some of the behaviors that we should show if we are talking about life skills. Because we can talk about sustainable development goals. You see, I've got my papers prepared. I actually wanted to go to town talking about sustainable development goals, chapter 5, talking about equality, talking about poverty, food security, and all that. But I said, let's talk about something lighter, which is needful. Let's talk about life skills, because those are the things that we need to enforce social change. What I believe is that change doesn't necessarily have to come from the top. I believe change can come from one step to another, from one person to another. And that's where the issue of life skills come. How do we learn about effective communication? How do we teach empathy, creative thinking? How do we talk to people, about interpersonal relationships? How do we care for one another? How do we care for those that are vulnerable? Those that have disabilities? How do we care for the people that are poor, those that are homeless? These are the things that we need to look at. But a lot of the times, there's things about life skills that we don't learn in school. Education cannot tell you that. But by talking to one person, you learn about empathy, about caring. This person is sitting alone. How do we change that? This person don't know how to talk. How do we develop people? This is what makes us human. This is what makes us a community. Now, I would end with this, because I know Messi is trying to be around me. Yeah. I will end with this. Imagine a world in which more people cared for others unconditionally. Not just for their family and their friends, but for all people. Imagine a world in which love meant something more than is done today. Something greater, something universal and all-embracing. Building a sustainable sisterhood emotionally and building resilience. Women need to support each other. This includes morals, values, and integrity. Women need to show togetherness, passion, excellence, and enthusiasm. And I conclude with this. I've got a book here about inclusion, about women's security. With Messi's permission, she's told me to talk about it. It's all on Amazon. And if you want a copy, you can see me after. I want to close with this. I'm closing. Yeah. Still talking about love. You know, I love what we had yesterday. You know, when we had the gala, we danced around, we walked around. You know, we carried that caravan of love. There's an old song which says, every woman, every man, if you know him, join the caravan of love. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Everybody take a stand. Join the caravan of love, love. Stand up, I'm your brother. I'm your brother, don't know. Oh, I'm your sister. I'm your sister, don't you know? Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much for stirring that transformation and movement at so many levels for us. Please join me in coming together in the front and offering your warmth and love to a beautiful set of panelists, speakers who've offered us much wisdom with a lifetime of work that they create. Thank you. We are in ever gratitude. Thank you so much. And I want you guys to clap for you because you have been phenomenal. You're so attentive. You're sending so much love. This way you have no idea. Really, it's replenishing, it's nourishing, and we cannot thank you enough. You guys are amazing, each one of you. Who's hiding? Thank you. There's been a debate for hundreds of years, but we know that science and spirituality are only the yin and the yang. Do we agree? Yes? No? Yes? Raise of hands? Two hands. No? Any no's? Who are the critics? Let me see. Oh, no critics today. Wow, good afternoon. We are indeed unraveling where science and spirituality meet towards sustainable change. And you're going to be most enamored by the set of speakers we're going to have the opportunity to invite and hear from in just a moment. I invite Rafaela Grassa Schiffer. Welcoming Rafaela. Beautiful Rafaela, a biologist from Brazil. She's a systems thinking consultant, researcher, and facilitator. Welcome. How about we keep clapping? Let's make a pattern. Let's make a pattern. So we'll make music. Yeah? Okay. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Perfect. Continue. Allegra, don't stop. Allegra Jenkins. From Croatia. Don't stop, I'll remind you. Director of the International Center for Education Opportunities and a spiritual guide and a shamanic sound healer. Welcome. They're making music for you. You're honored. Thank you. You can take a break. Thank you. Samantha Eichbach. Welcoming Samantha from Switzerland, the founder of Sati House, a mindfulness-based training project, who lives in the golden moment of now. They made music for you too. Mariana Jervastav. Are you here? Manuela Sirageria. Welcoming Manuela, a physician from Portugal who has created the Medicine of Life project. Welcoming Manuela. Delilah Paulo? No music? Oh, yes, music! From Portugal, a senior didactic psychotherapist, lecturer, and trainer on holistic and peace education. If I could invite Audrey Scully. Audrey? Yes, there she is, from the UK, with 20 years of experience as a complementary therapist and the founder of British Chi Reflexology College, a lady of many talents. Welcome. Music's on. Please have a seat. Science and spirituality, and creating a sustainable solution where they can thrive together, because essentially it's of the same essence. I invite Rafaela to please enlighten us with her thoughts and journey. All yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello. It's not working.
Rafaela, begin with this. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I came here today to share my experience as a scientist or a former student of science. I had the enormous privilege of going. Thank you. Okay. I had the enormous privilege of going to a place called Schumacher College and having a degree, a Master's of Science in Holistic Science. I came here to share some key learnings I had during this time at Schumacher College. That is a place in which education is for hands, heart, and head. So there, I could drink from the source of many intellectuals and practitioners and activists like Rupert Sheldrake, Fritjof Capra, Vandana Shiva, to name a few of them. And it's the only master's degree in science where you study quantities and qualities of science together. There's no separation. Well, the leading edge of science is affirming very vehemently that the planet, the Earth, is not a machine, that the Earth is a living organism, and we are nature learning about herself through a human experience. Connecting to this point, I believe that ecology is not only about complicated calculations and points of view focus on the food web, but it goes much beyond that. Science is bringing perspectives of the wood wide web, that is the internet of the forest, where all the organisms in the forest are interconnected, and also the biotic pump is a way the forest and life takes control of all the conditions, so that Janine Benyus, that coined the term biomimicry, actually said that life creates conditions to life, which is very, very true. Indigenous in the Amazon have been talking already for centuries about how trees actually attract rain, and just now science is starting to recognize many of the things they were saying. So is this delicate interconnectedness of all organisms in the web of life that is being revealed right now. And a Zen master called Thich Nhat Hanh, he was able to summarize this in a very elegant term called interbeing. So this is a manifesto for our dependence. We all need each other. And to be actually is to interbe. I would like to close up just with a belief that a teacher of mine, something he always says, he's a peace activist called Satish Kumar, and he always says that this is what we are experiencing right now is a transition from a belief, a Cartesian way of thinking that is, I think, therefore I am, towards a deep relational perspective that is, you are, therefore I am. So thank you.
Thank you for setting the tone. You are, therefore I am. Because that's what they say in Africa. Are the Ghana sisters here? Ubuntu. That's what they have a beautiful word for it, which sums this expression so beautifully. Thank you, Rafaela, thank you. If I could invite the lovely Allegra Jenkins.
I would like to thank the non-native English speakers, because as somebody who lives in a country that doesn't speak my language, I appreciate what you are doing, which is listening in English. So I'd like to thank all of you who are non-native English speakers. Science, spirituality. For me, are caminos, journeys, searching for the truth. Science has been very corrupted by who funds science, and I applaud the speaker this morning. Who funds science in our universities? The military, the banks, and the pharmaceuticals. Spirituality has also been diverted, subverted. Is spirituality the same as religion? For me, no. Spirituality is not the same as religion. So, I can talk about spirituality and science because I was at one time the director of the International Centre for Excellence in Educational Opportunities at the University of Liverpool, and now I'm a shamanic sound healer. And these are both dualities, and this is my path, my camino. And a camino is about the search for truth. And we live in a world of 7 billion people, and we have 7 billion truths. Everybody is on their own camino, their own journey, their own way of finding their truth. And the privilege of being somewhere like here, the Women's Economic Forum, is hearing stories. Stories from the heart and stories of truth. And the reason why we feel them is that our soul hears them. And our soul resonates with the truth of the words of the authentic story. And it's about balance and harmony. So for me, I find my truth by finding the 6-year-old girl who dances within me. And when I meditate, I go searching for her, and I dance around with her. And at 66, dancing with my 6-year-old soul child, I am now 666. Now that isn't the number of the devil, but it's a very magical number. And to live with that magic at the moment for this year is my balance and harmony, my joining of the science and the spirituality within my lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, beautiful Allegra. We'd love to find you even offline and love to hear more about all the magic you speak of. You have a website. What is it?
Allegra Croatia.
That might be easy to remember. Thank you. I invite Samantha. Welcome.
Boa tarde a todos, bem-vindos. So, first of all, I wanted to thank Mansi for your, for your seemingly infinite energy that you have been bringing us. Seemingly infinite, because it hasn't stopped yet. So, of course, also to Haberdina for bringing us all together on this stage, bringing all these wonderful people. And of course, let's not forget Tanya, the hostess with the mostest. She's somewhere out there.
And Samantha, I want to thank you and everybody on the stage and everybody in the audience, because you are all of you, please.
So, and I also don't want to forget the young people that we have seen yesterday, the ladies that we have seen, the gentlemen that we have seen, yesterday. I applaud everyone and each of you, and for the message that you have brought to the stage, the message that you wanted to share with us. So thank you very much. I'm really glad that many people have already spoken about the topic I am going to talk about. You have talked about the heart and the connection that we have to our heart. So sometimes the misconnection that we have to our heart. So I would like to ask you a question. Did you know, or do you know, that we have more than one brain? And I'm not talking only about men in this case. So it seems that we have what is called the little brain. And this little brain is in our hearts. We have more than 40,000 neurons and a neuron transmitter in our heart that can feel, that can learn, and that can remember. So what does this mean? I see the 2-minute sign up there, pressure. So we have this intuition, we have this inner wisdom, if you will, that sometimes we disconnect, sometimes we forget to talk to this inner wisdom. And science has bridged that gap between what mystics, what poets and romantics already knew, and the tribal people, that there is more to the eye that we can see, more to the eye that we can touch or feel or see. So I would like for you to bridge this gap for a little moment by bringing our awareness to our hearts. So if you will, follow me in this very short visualization, very short meditation. If you want, you can close your eyes. Bring 1 or 2 hands to your heart center in whatever position you want. 2 hands, 1 hand, a prayer-like position. And connect to this place of inner wisdom. Connect to this place where you know that your true self, that source energy, and everything that you already are resides. We're bridging the gap between our mind and our heart. Our heart is not the enemy. Our heart is there, our mind is there to protect us. And so we speak to our heart, we feel the energy in our heart. We feel it going up to the mind and bridging this gap. Feel your heart beating. Feel the life inside of you. Take this moment to thank your heart that it is there. It is there to guide you to a more sustainable future within yourself and with others and the planet. Good. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and I'll see you around. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you for reconnecting us back to that inner wisdom. And what a blessed day. We've had the privilege and the opportunity to be able to reconnect again and again, almost at every panel this morning, back to the hearts. And that's why I always say that the most pertinent journey we'll ever make is the 18 inches from the mind to the heart. So we've seen it over and over again. Thank you for taking us on that journey once again. Thank you, Samantha. I welcome Manuela. Well, welcome to you once again. Would you like the handheld?
Yes. Perfect. Good morning. I would like to say to you and Dr. Irene and your team that I feel completely overwhelmed. So really, since the beginning of the day, and even I'm not comfortable to speak in English, I will change a little bit my what I want to tell you. Okay, we are really very wonderful beings, and we are really very, very powerful. And medicine or medical doctors just look for the body, and the body maybe is just 10% of us or 1% of us. And if we, you know, and all of us know there is something called the law of attraction. How does it work? It works because we have inside of our brain a system. The name of the system is reticular activating system. And that system is a kind of a filter, and is filtering everything who can come to us, and we can program that filter. So we are now what we have been learned from all the years we have, and from all of the things that they program our system, our filter. So we can change the memories and the beliefs and whatever we have inside of this filter. So if, of course, if my belief is, I think that people in the work don't like me, of course, during all the day, I will get information about everything around me that could be confirm that situation. But it is just because I believe that the people don't like me. So when the doctor could tell you, as we have heard before, you have a very severe disease, you just have a few days or months of life, it is not true. It's just true for him or for her because we have statistics for those situations. But of course, we can program ourselves to be what you want, to be what, to have all the health we can really imagine we can bring to us. So you can program that system, and it is very easy. It's a formula very easy. Every morning when you wake up, the first 30 seconds, have an intention very clear about what you want for you. Feel a strong emotion in your heart, because the heart have electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than the brain. So our heart programs our body and our life. So a formula is a clear intention, a strong emotion, and repeating, repeating, repeating. And I assure you that after 66 days, you will see results in your life. So please, make your dreams come true, make you be very healthy, and please shine and light the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Manuela. And we believe you because you're a medical doctor. So when you give us a ritual, we need to follow. Every morning when our eyes open, instead of the screen of that phone, we look at the screen of the heart, and we get in there for 30 seconds, yes? And then we get back to you with all the magic that transpires in 66 days. Yes? Thank you for the homework. Thank you. I invite, how do you say, Dalila Paulo, welcoming you.
So God bless all the diversity of approaches. And I'm now talking to your inner scientist. So we can say that science and spirituality met at the time the quantum was first discovered, and quantum physicists start to reach the same reality as spiritual masters already knew by intuitive direct experience, and that for millennia. So just to give you an example of this, let's see these two sentences. World is only an appearance, in fact does not exist. And the other sentence, space, physical space, is a mere superficial reality. One was said by a scientist, one was said by a spiritual master. I dare you to find who said what. If you said the first was from a scientist and the second from a spiritual master, you got it right. They did merge. They reached the same reality throughout different methodologies. So nowadays, probably the most important thing is that scientists themselves reach an inner sustainable development. And by this I mean an integral and balanced development. And how can we reach this integral and balanced development? By transforming the rational thinking process and the maturity of emotion and intuitive approaches. So let's start by the thinking process. How can we transform this? So we must be aware that the dualistic logic, the logic that we all learn from schools, is a logic of mutual exclusion. It's the logic of, if it is A, it can't be B. It's A or B. It can't be one thing and the other. Only one thing and the other. And that is the brain process and the patterns that have been engraved in our way of thinking, and automatically and unconsciously guides our way we think, we relate with ourselves and others, and how we do our investigation and find solutions for the problems. So let's see an example of this that I was trying to find out, and you can find it everywhere if you look it. The sentence, it does not matter. What matters is not what the people would pass through our lives. What matters is the people would stay. So in order to acknowledge one thing, we are excluding the other thing. So we need to this conditioning, this mutual exclusion logic to achieve a brain patterns of quantic logic, a logic that is A and B. It's A, it can be B, and A and B simultaneously. So in this sentence, how do we change from the first sentence to the other? So I can say that my life is also defined by the people who had passed through it and the way it touches it. So it is this interiorization that makes us having an holistic thought and starting to work in the transdisciplinary way. It's the pattern that in all times of our lives, we can see, connect all the knowledge that we have to all the aspects of the situation, and to see the karma, the lines, consequences of the action we are choosing from. So this needs a deep internalization, but how can we then achieve to bring our mind processes, our thinking process to the quantic holistic logic? It's a whole way of learning by several methodologies, but you can begin by a simple step. Whenever you think that you realize that you're thinking about one thing or the other, just change it and think one thing and the other. So we'll start transforming ourselves into the others from a language of impossibilities to a language and a mindset that see all the possibilities all the time. So in that sense, you also start to communicate in a non-dual way, and you find yourself to be much more inclusive and compassionate. So changing the thought process for an integral and sustainable way of doing things. So integral development, first transforming thought process. Oh. Okay, so transforming thought, just 2 seconds, just transforming thought process. The intuition, we need also to be aware that just to have untrained transpersonal experience is not an integral development. We can have several transpersonal states of mind and still, even so, and skills, and even so generates relation with ourselves and others that generates suffering. So the main thing is go through love. And I'm done because they already talk about it. And just to, so scientists do need, science do need to have more and more science with the holistic thinking and a maturity and emotional, intuitive maturity. And to finish in a transdisciplinary way, joining love and mathematics, there is quantum physics that said that love is the third included. It's the glue that unites everything, and it's definitely the glue that allow us scientists to make the bridges of a socially, economic, and environmental sustainable world. Thank you.
Thank you. Love is indeed the glue. And it's the glue that binds everyone up here, down there, behind the screens, over the stage. I'll just take this moment before I invite Audrey to speak for you to please offer your gratitude to all the unbelievable volunteers that surround us, to the AV team that's making magic, to the organizing committee, the women and the men that stand behind Tanya, making this magnificence. Everyone behind the camera, we acknowledge you behind the screens. Thank you so much for your dedication and for your love. Thank you. If I could invite Audrey, please, to offer us your thoughts. And in closing as well. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. And again, like the others, before I start, I just want to say my deepest gratitude to Dr. Harbeen and Mansi, and especially Tanya, because I've been a pain to her, bless her, for allowing me to come on this platform. But also what they don't know is how I've progressed in these few days, emotionally and spiritually, helping me to release stuff from my past that I thought I'd actually got rid of. And I'm like, what? Are you still here? So, and for meeting all you beautiful people here as well. And I know I've made deep friendships as well. So, I'll start my talk now. Thank you. Spirituality and science. The theme of this conference is about living from your heart. And I am now part of a team who are helping people to live from their hearts, to get out of their heads and to live from their hearts. And my fellow women here have informed you quite a lot about the scientific side and the love side. And I just want to endorse that because, as Manuela said, the heart is the electronic magnetic field. It's 5,000 times stronger than the brain. And what we are going to be doing in May is we're having a human heart gathering. And there are people from America coming, from the Heart, sorry, I'm getting a bit nervous here, from the Heart Math Incorporation, and I know a few of you know about that. And they have actually scientifically tested the electromagnetic field in the heart. And they are coming to do a talk in this gathering. And also, we have got a top scientific energy specialist coming to actually measure energy. I've got 2 minutes left. I really want to help you. Well, I want to ask you to, again, connect with your heart. Could you just close your eyes quickly? We can't do the energetic field testing here, but we can do it this way. And I just want you to connect with your heart. Put your left hand on your heart. And just think of something that really upsets you, that really, really hurts you. And you're not allowed to think of Brexit. So just feel that hurt and just be aware of your heart and what's happening to your heart as you're thinking about it. Now when you take a deep breath and blow it out, just blow that hurt out. And now think of something that makes you really happy, that makes you really smile and really laugh. And just feel how that feels. What is the difference? And that is how quickly you can change from being upset, from being hurt, to feeling love and to being happy, and changing that electromagnetic field in your heart. We are all united, we are all together, and individually we can make a difference. Thank you.
Take a bow, Audrey. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I invite you, please, to join us in the front in holding hands and holding this space ever so beautifully. Tanya, please join us on the stage. Harbeen, if I could invite you, please, to be the lighthouse that you are every moment in our hearts. Oh. And I would also invite everybody here to join us on the stage, just here, and we're going to capture this moment in a group photograph. So whoever's in this room right now, you're very special. So please join us in the front. Please come together because we're going to break for lunch right after. So yeah, the tall people, please come in between the speakers here. Don't pretend to be tall. Or short. And then the short people, like myself, can just be in the frontmost.
And some of us can sit on the floor.
And yes, and the front rows can sit, squat. The middle people should squat. All the movers and shakers. Tanya?
Even the sound and the video people, come here. Sound, video. Not all photographers, please.
We need somebody to, oh. Yeah, we should. Yes, the men as well. We need the men. We need the babies. Ari, come on over. Ari. Come, please come, please. In togetherness, come.
Thank you.
And now we can make some noise.
Yes.
Everyone say Portugal. 1, 2, 3. Portugal. We're going to the lodge for lunch. Tanya?
Yeah. Okay, so lunch is going to be again at the lodge as yesterday. The system is the same. Now, the ones of you who know the way already know, but please be quite swift. We're late, 20 minutes late, so whoever needs to go by bus works the same way as yesterday. The bus is outside. If you don't know the way, please wait at the door. We'll be walking you up. We will begin the afternoon session at 10 to 3. Spot on, 10 to 3, okay? Thank you. We have 1 hour 30. Okay? Thank you.
I get a kick, though it's clear to me you obviously don't adore me. I get no kick in a plane, flying too high with some gal in